First, we have the headlines. Cocomis shutdowns on both central and state governments began, with officials to support the agitation. Extensive search operation underway for missing Assam residents in Imphal West. Manipur police rescue kidnapped medical officers, arrest 5 with arms and narcotics catch. Boundary-wise difference, Himanta Biswa Sarma rules out Manipur violence impact on Northeast. Congress MP Hibi Idan seeks urgent discussions in Lok Sabha on Manipur's deteriorating situation. And Parliament adjourned second times in a row over opposition protests on Adani case, Sambhal violence. Hello, good afternoon. You're watching ELITETV English News at 3. Now, the news in detail. As earlier announced by the Cocomis, the volunteers of the Cocomis today lock all the state and central government's offices from today. A large number of volunteers throng all secretariats at Babupara, Transport Departments, Directorate of Relief and Disaster Management, Manipur and Forest Departments at Sanzentong, and locked offices. The agitations have to continue for 2 days. Three-day training programs on lab technicians, labor in charge, and DSU microbiologists has begun as the Sija Academy of Health Science, Langol, Imphal West District. The training program was organized by the Integrated Diseases Surveillance Program, National Health Mission, Manipur Directors of Health Services, Dr. Chambo Gonmai, Director of Sija Academy and Health Sciences, Dr. M. Amuba, Directors of Sija Hospital and Research Institute and Medical Sciences, Dr. Jugindro Soro Khaibam, and State Surveillance Officers, Directors of Health Services, Dr. S. Gopal, attended as main guests. Addressing the gathering, Director of Health, Dr. Chambo Gonmai, expressed about the present scenario of the medical changes in the state. Moreover, he also mentions about the main objective of the organizing the training programs in detail.
Quality later diagnosis aduna mohi tawriba miyam singse moi technicians miyam singse moi bo fazana training piba darkar leiba moi na training pass to 2 years or 3 years moi training to crop shu moi na mula pom tam sida moi na thabak phungmam tam sida moi na thabak to se quality hoina pib se pam de ge hoina hands on training se darkar we on to
Imphal West and Kangpopi District Police, along with the Army units under the supervision of the General Officers commanding of the 57 Mountain Divisions, are conducting extensive operations to locate Laishram Kamal Babu Singh, a 56 years old resident of the Gosaipur, Udarbons, Kachar District, Assam, currently residing in the Loitang Kunal, Imphal West. Singh was reported missing on November 25, 2024 from the Laima Khong area. Security forces have launched rigorous physical search operation in the Limekong and its surrounding regions, leaving no stone unturned in their efforts to trace the missing individual. The search is being conducted in both the vulnerable hills and the valley districts, with area dominations operation underway to ensure comprehensive coverage. Joint operations have also been carried out in the Mongbung Meitei, Mongbung Kuki, Balijuri, Kasimpur and Jarol Pokpi under Jirbam police station. Additionally, the search extends to the Jakur-Radhor, Part 1 and 2, and Harinagar areas under the Boro-Bekra police stations in Jiribam district. The efforts reflect the dedication of the security forces to resolve these cases as operations continue unabated. Manipur police successfully rescued a kidnapped medical officer, Dr. K.H. Nabakishore, who was abducted from the Langtawal Kunja Awang Lekai on the morning of November 22. The kidnappers had demanded a ransoms and issued threats against the victim's life if their demands were not met. Acting on the intelligence inputs, the police tracked the victim to a farmhouse in Lamdeng under Lamsang police station. The rescue operations conducted on November 24, 2024 led to the arrest of the 4 individuals, Wahangbam Ramananda, alias Rauso or Luangamba, reportedly linked to the KCP MC Lalumba, Wahangbam's Usarani, alias Piari or Dabem, now Raibam Joik Sankar as a 39, Laichombam's Bipin Singh as a 32. From the suspect positions, law enforcement recovered a 7.65 mm pistol with a magazines, a 0.32 mm pistol with a magazine, 10 live rounds of the .32 caliber ammunition. Subsequently, on November 26, 2024, another suspect, Paunam Samungao, alias Pintu, was apprehended. A follow-up search at the residence of the Ramananda reveals a significant catch of arms, ammunitions, and the suspected narcotics, including 3 pistols, 1 loaded with 3 rounds of 9 mm ammunition, revolvers, and 2 carbine magazines, .28 round of 7.65 mm ammunition, and 1 round of 7.62 mm ammunition, 4 detonators, and a .22 rifles with magazines. 8 soap capes suspect to contain heroin number 4. Authorities are continuing investigations to identify and apprehend other individuals involved in the case. Manipur police have reiterated their commitments to public safety and urged citizens to report any suspicious activities to ensure a secure environment. Security forces are conducting combing operations in Jiribam areas to arrest the culprits involved in the heinous and the terrorist act of killing many, including women and children, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh told reporters during a press conference this late evening at the Darbar Hall, Chief Minister's Secretariat. 2 companies of the CRPF were rushed to the Jiribam immediately in the aftermath of the recent spats of violence, and another 5 companies were rushed recently, the Chief Minister said, adding that search and combing operations will continue until the culprits are arrested and booked under the law. And Biren Singh also says that in an unfortunate incident, a man identified as Laishram Kamal Babu has gone missing since yesterday after visiting the Limekong army camp. He added that a 0 FIR has been registered in these connections with the Sekmai police, and that a combined teams of the state force, paramilitary, and the armies are trying to trace the missing person. The Chief Minister further highlighted that the National Investigation Agency (NIA) has re-registered cases in connections with the recent spat of violence in Jiribam leading to the killing of many, including women and children. The NIA, the Chief Minister says, has issued a press release regarding to registerings of the 3 cases. The first case relates to the killing of the 2 civilians, abductions, and the subsequent killing of 6 civilians, including women and children. The second case relates to the attack on a CRPF post located at the Jakur-Radhor, Karong, and the Boro-Bekra police stations, Jiribam by arms miscreants and recover of dead bodies of the armed militants and arms and ammunition from the vicinity of the attack. The third case related to the murder of another woman at Jiribam, he said. The NIA has also started its investigation and identifying individuals involved, he said. The Chief Ministers observed that due to the gravity and the complexities of the present situation in the state, the government is unable to issue updates as frequently as the peoples would have wanted. There are certain elements who are waiting to sabotage another announced by the government, he said. He added, "The government is not sitting idle," he said, stressing that the security forces considered neutral like CRPF and PSF by the people of the Manipur have been stationed at certain vulnerable and freeing areas in order to bring peace and normalcy in the state. And Biren Singh reiterated that on November 18, the NDA legislature of the states in a meeting had adopted certain resolutions which include the urging the centrals to repeal the Armed Forces Special Power Act (ASPA) from the limits of the 6 police stations where the act was recently reimposed, conducts mass combing operation to nab the culprits involved in the heinous and the terrorizing act of the killing of civilians in the Jiribam, declares the organizations involved as terrorists, urged the center to direct the NIA to take up the case related to the killing of the civilians in Jiribam. Out of these demands, the center has already acted on many, he said, adding that the states governments and the NDA legislators are ever ready to join the peoples in further seeking the remaining demands like the declaring the involved organizations as terrorists, repeals of the ASPAs from the limits of the 6 police stations. However, since many of the demands have been already met by the central government, violent agitations which could disturb the general public and hamper peace to return in the states should be avoided, the Chief Minister appealed. The Chief Ministers concluded with an appeal to all the CSO and the people of the states, including the Cocomis, to not continue with the agitation so that the schools, college, offices and economic activities may continue without disturbances and allow security forces to guard the few vulnerable areas.
I'm turning the little block, and I will be Mamanda, the Sutoki with the Domalate, the Red Killer. I got a look in the Mumari living up with couldn't begin. No man got away, Shabbat company and in Hazard, at the Music Mana, the Hazard, Pura. You mean something that the other large in the operation, Kazataway, Kanamoret. Local paper media and social media and the film. Even graded pull level of Umakonga, Karina, operation Lampia, by using popular and to identify it. I am a toy. On the Madu head, confusion of Operation Saturday Hemshima. Manipur Myanmar, the Marine Division, because of busy. Anishubada, when the higher location, the local Pinaba and official press release, official or NIT. Total official in a higher broken way. Necessary control, she the follow and I had one week. Middle pick your answer down to be terrorism in the book and anti-terror agency really is a start of it. And I think we did no idea when how go to young terror in terrorist mode the company actually when idea is the press is the Pali.
Congress member of MP Hebe Edens raised concerns over the ongoing crisis in Manipur by moving an adjournment motion notice in the Lok Sabha on Wednesday, November 27th. In his motion, Eden demanded discussions on the worsening conditions in the state, calling for the immediate government's actions to restore peace and justice. In the notice addressed to the Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, Eden emphasized that the president's violence in Manipur reflects a significant breakdown in law and order and pointed out to serious administrative failures. He highlighted the escalating tension, mass displacement, widespread destruction, and the allegations of the bias in the state's handling of the conflicts. The violence in Manipur has led to the numerous facilities being destroyed, mass displacement, and extensive damage to the public and private property. The administration's response has been criticized for being inadequate, and the role of the armed groups along with the circulations of the inflammatory materials has deepens mistrust among the communities, Eden's notice stated. Eden further drew attention to the national outrage sparked by the cases of the sexual violence, including the infamous parading of the women's, prompting interventions from the Supreme Court. The Apex Court has also called for the comprehensive ground level investigations and judicial oversights in the matter. Additionally, the humanitarian crisis has deepened, with displaced people suffering from the inadequate shelter and food supplies. This House must urgently address the deteriorating situations in Manipur, demands accountability from the state's administration, and push for a swift measure to restore peace and justice. The ongoing violence not only endangers the social fabric of the state but also threatens India's democratic values, the notice concluded. The situation has prompted the National Investigation Agency to intervene, as the agency registered 3 new cases in relation to the violence in Cheribam and other areas. The NIA took over the investigations on November 13, 2024, following directions from the Union Ministry of the Home Affairs, which decided to transfer the cases to the Anti-Terror Agency due to the gravity of the violence and the larger conspiracy behind the attacks. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma dismissed concern over the impact of the ongoing violence in the Manipur on other northeastern states, particularly Assam. We are emotionally one, culturally one, but boundary-wise different, he added. Speaking at the International Tourism March currently underway in the Kaziranga on November 27th, CM Sarma stated that each state in the region has its own identity. He drew a comparisons, saying east and events in Rajasthan as setback for Haryana. While we seize the cultural bonds, we are individual states. CM Sarma further clarified that the incidents in Manipur, which is around 500 kilometers away from the Assam, should not be linked to events occurring in the Assams or other northeastern states. To link an incident in Manipur with Kaziranga or the Manas is unfair. It only leads to the frustration, he said. He emphasized that while the states are emotionally and culturally connected, they are geographically distinct. It may be impertinent to mention here that tension and chaos in the violence hits Manipur have escalated over the past few weeks. Recently, Chief Minister N. Biren Singh told reporters that the security forces are conducting combing operation in Cheribam areas to arrest the culprits involved in the heinous and the terrorist acts of killing many, including women and children. 2 companies of the CRPF were rushed to Cheribam immediately in the aftermath of the recent spats of violence, and another 5 companies were rushed recently, the Chief Minister said, adding that the search and the combing operations will be continued until the culprits are arrested and booked under the law. And now let's take a short break. Keep watching for more updates.
Live Tharadi Miyamda Asengba Adu Haibiyu. Dukan yaura akanda masidadi offer laite na soidana hairakani. HG Cassette Gallery da amutang linkshin birau. Online price da mobile khudimak loina phangbigani. Hojik se wana ba matamnina loan gi khudong chabasu aikhoi gi maikai dagi pizari. MI gi phone laiba singi su lucky draw laizai. Chahi loramdai asida adom gi daw adu yabra haina amutang yengbiu. Car bite mobile na jingba sing phawa yana lairi. Ningol chakau bagi special offer gi mathakta aikhoi gi store gi oina su lucky draw tawjari. Lucky draw asigi first prize na 32-inch TV, second prize na induction, third prize na rice cooker ni. Singjamai supermarket ta laiba HG Cassette Gallery da lengshin biraktu na khudong chaba ase lawbi ho.
Makhal kaya gi award fangaba HG Cassette Gallery ni. Chahi taragi mathaktagi HG Cassette Gallery na mobile store sida matam nga chanaba mongda offer amadi discount kaya piduna lakchari. Sale khudong cha double su loan da mobile lawbi ba yagani. Discount piba khatang natana lucky draw tawduna miyamda khudol kaya am su pijari. Miyamsu Singjamai supermarket ta laiba HG Cassette Gallery da utang lingsing birau. Loina na HG Cassette Gallery gi Facebook page asibu follow tawba singi onasu lucky draw amasu thamjari.
Sri Sri Gaurachandrai Namha Purbasamda Ikoi Khwaibu Konbiramba Sri Yendrembam Kumar Singh Namagi Nuksi Jarba Manung Sagai Natai Amadi Marupang Khwaipun Puthadok Lamlaga Haukiba Tang Tara Taret Nomazin Mita Sri Guru Gi Kripadi Ves Olga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Das Habanam Fangjaduna Prindapal Prapti Oikre Lakliba Tang Kuni Thoi Irai Mita Asti Sanjay Lokutraga Lakliba Tang Kuntra Tanzanumita Srada Din Tokle Walakasi the Brahman Vaishnava Ahalaman Marupang Ekona the Sakang Zahudraba Khwaipun Matam Chan Lingbertuna Harinam Sarban Tabiranaba Paujanjari Singh Srimati Yendrembam Ombi Damayanti Devi Sardharmini Sri Yendrembam Boyama Singh Machanupa Sri Yendrembam Robin Singh Machanupa Srimati Yendrembam Ombi Bina Amina Devi Mamunupi Srimati Yendrembam Ombi Dayasori Devi Mamunupi Yendrembam Davhina Masunupi Kurai Awang Kongpal Laisum Laikai
Karigumba matamda adongi thabak mafamda tongan da thaudokna pukning wakhal nungai handabra ashigumba thaudok asidagi ngak thoknaba pambai kharamyam gi damak thamjari emung manungi miyoising naknaba marup mapangsing workplace ki colleaguesing asina chingbaga wari watai sadokpiba amadi yarba makai social interactions fana thamnaba honabiu anoba skilled natraga hobby sing tamshinduna masidagi kanaba lobiu ishagi pukning wakhal nungai nabagi damakta kanagumba gi mating pangbiduna natraga makhoi da minungshi utpi Adom Amadi Mioidugi Wakal Nungaina Tambada Mating Oigani Ishagi Matam Kaidoktuna Ishana Isaga Offer Mari Tambiba Tangai Fade Amadi Ishagi Me Time Tambiduna Ishana Isaga Luina Biduna Ishana Ishabu Masak Kanda Honabiu Faba Wakal Tana Mang Taduna Aihakna Hongdopangam Laruidaba Potuda Wakal Tadadana Madubu Accept Tobatamduna Tadopangam Nabonabiu No Maginumita Ishana Kwaidagi Koidajba Physical Activities Haibadi Jail, walking, cycling, gymming, apamba ama hekta khanbiduna madubu day-to-day life ki saruk ama ohelashi mashi punamak ashina adomgi pukning wakhalbu ingna chikna thambada mating pangani mashigi mathakta Telemanas Manipur Mental Helpline number 14416 24/7 adomgi damakta lepli pukning wakal hexton tharakpaga hairiba number 14416 ashida call tobiu natraga manak nakpa health and wellness center da chatpiu Miyamgidamakta Paujanjariba National Mental Health Program, National Health Mission Manipur, Amadi Directorate of Health Services Manipur.
Welcome back after the break. Moving on with the Mizoram governments will remove non-performing employees from the state service, Chief Minister Laldu Homa announced. The Chief Minister was speaking during a meeting which was held to review the initiatives of the Education Department in Aizawl. CM Laldu Homa stated that the committees are being formed in departments to review the services of the employees under the state's government. He lays emphasis on the need to ensure a qualified and efficient workforce, further stating that the initiative have been taken pertinent to the same. We feel that it is better we relieve all unqualified employees who are no longer worth to be employed to exit from their services as per norms. We are committed to having efficient employees who maintain good quality of services, the Chief Minister told the meeting. Laldu Homa says that his government is taking steps to ensure that all projects are executed properly and effectively. Projects are being closely monitored by the State Project Monitoring Committees, which has inspected about 40 ongoing projects so far. We will be stringent in the implementing and monitoring projects in the state, he said. The Chief Ministers also said that the government is taking measures to streamline the use of the corporate social responsibility, which was earlier available and used by the departments on their own. He says that the government has decided to centralize CSR from the Chief Minister's Office, CMO, and all departments will seek CSR with the knowledge of the CSR cells. Laldu Homa further says that his government is desirous of avoiding central funding, which has a high percentage of states matching share. All departments must submit their proposal for the projects to center through the state planning departments to avoid overlapping project proposals, he said. Two laborers were buried alive and two others were injured following a mud cave-in at a construction site in the Itanagar's Dodi colony, Arunachal Pradesh on November 26. The four individuals were residents of Assam. The incident occurs when four laborers were digging to construct a retaining wall and the earth suddenly collapsed, according to the sources. While 2 laborers lost their life, the other 2 were shifted to the Ramakrishna Mission Hospital. According to the Randhir Kumar Jha, the police officer who initiated the rescue operations along with the National Disaster Response Force and the police personnel, the operation lasted from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. The deceased individuals has been identified as the Jahan Hemrand, 45, and the Bizay Bag, 46, both residents of Assam's Dekia Juli. The injured laborers have been identified as the Ganesh Orant and the Joseph Dobnu. A case of the unnatural death has been also registered at Itanagar police station. Takar Yangda, the owner of the construction sites and the residents of the Sepa, informs that he was building a retaining wall to protect his land from the landslide during the summer seasons. Jahir Hussain, the contractors at the sites, informs that 6 laborers were called from the Assam, of which 4 were engaged in the constructions of the retaining wall at the Doni colony. The Mizoram police and the Assam Rifles in a joint operation thwarts cross-border drug trafficking attempts and seized heroin's worth rupees 1.93 crore in the East Mizoram Champhai district. One of the individuals, a residents of the Myanmar, has also been registered this connection. The Johautar Police Department seized 258 grams of heroin number 4 during a meticulous plans joint operations near the Malbuk Thingrong Kai Ulai on 25 November. Acting on the credible intelligence inputs, troops of the Assam Rifles established an ambush in the area, leading to the successful interceptions of the trafficker attempting to smuggle drug across the TR River. During the operations, the joint teams noticed an individual crossing a TR River on a canvas white. Upon spot checking, the team recovered 22 soap cases of heroin number 4 concealed inside a white sack. The individuals identified as the Van Viet Manga, 42 Malay, residents of the Webula, Myanmar, was immediately taken into the custody and the vehicles used for smuggling was seized. The seized contrabands, the apprehended individuals and the vehicles were handed over to the police departments, Chowkothar, Champhai district, Mizoram, for further investigations and legal proceedings. The Mizoram police on the Tuesday seized over 8 kgs of the heroin in Aijol's Thwampui locality and apprehended 3 individuals from the Champhai district. The heroin values at over 2 crores is considered the largest seizures in Mizoram in a single operation. The operations was conducted by the team from the Mizoram's Police CID Special Branch. They intercepted 2 vehicles in the early hours of Tuesday at the Chiuva Hills, Thwampui, Aijol. The vehicles included the Bolero Very registration number MZ04A9872 coming from the Langsam Champhai via Kalkang, Vaite, Biatse, Kaitums and pickup, bearing a registration number of MJ066021, which was stationed in Aijol. The team seized 8.0858 kgs of the orange powder suspected to be the heroin, packed in 664 soap cases. The seized drugs were also values of rupees 2.417400 in the local markets. The arrested individuals are the Lalro Nuna Fanai, 33 of the Tlangsam Champhai, Hlang Min Thangi, 43 of the Tlangsam Vantlang Champhai, and the Lalmuan Juala, 24 of the Tlangsam Champhai. The contraband was concealed using 984 cartons of the V cigarettes and 955 cartons of Wind cigarettes. The 2 vehicles and 4 mobile phones from the possessions of the accused were also seized. Case has been registered at a special narcotic police station. The founders of the Tripura Motha Padyok Kishore Manikya Dev Burma on Tuesday strongly opposed the Tripura government's alleged move to set up a 5-star hotel in the historical Puspa Bantha Palace. He demanded that the government rethink and reconsider the decisions, warning that protests would be launched if the plan goes ahead. In a video message, Padyok says that the old Raj Bhavan, known as the Puspa Bantha Palace, was handed over to the government of India free of cost in 1949 by the then Rasmatha Kanchan Prabha Devi under certain terms and conditions to serve as the governor's house. The founder of the Tripura Motha, Padiyat Kishore Manikya Debrama, on Tuesday strongly opposed the Tripura government's alleged move to set up a 5-star hotels in the historical Puspa Banda Palace. He demanded that the government rethink and consider the decisions, warning that protests would be launched if the plans goes ahead. In a video message, Padiyat says that the old Raj Bhavan known as the Puspa Banda Palace was handed over to the government of India free of cost in 1949 by the then Rasmatha Kanchan Prabha Devi under certain terms and conditions to serve as the governor house. The chairman of the Land Port Authority of India, Aditya Mishra, announced on November 26 that the newly constructed land ports in the Sabroom South District is expected to become operational by the end of this year or early 2025. During his visit to the Sabroom land ports, LPAI Chairman Mishra held meetings with official stakeholders and the border security forces. Speaking to the reporter, Mishra explained that the Sabroom's land port, initially scheduled to commence operations on August 14, had been delayed due to the political developments in Bangladesh. We conducted a conference with stakeholders at the Sabroom land port to discuss the progress. While we aim to operationalize the ports by August 14, political changes in the Bangladesh caused delays. However, we are striving to make these routes functional as soon as possible, as it will greatly benefit both states by boosting tourism and state. We anticipated it would be operational by the end of the year or early next year. Despite some instability, the two countries are closely connected in many ways, and these routes will be advantageous for both sides, Mishra stated. Tripura currently has 2 land ports, one in the Agartala and the West District and another at the Srimantapur of the Sepahijala District. The Meghalaya government, in collaboration with the Department for the Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, conducted the Be Ready from Sensitization workshop in Shillong on November 26. The workshop focused on key infrastructure domains of the utility services, including power, water, and internet, along with the strategic assessments of the business locations. Aims at bridging policy formulations gaps with the ground-level reality. The events brought together government officials, industrials, stakeholders, and relevant firms to comprehensively examine and address critical challenges within the business ecosystem. The workshop marks a significant step towards creating a more responsive and adaptive business environment in Meghalaya by facilitating direct dialogue between the policymakers and industry practitioners. Governor of Sikkim's Om Prakash Mathur visited Chief Minister of Sikkim Prem Singh Tamang at Old Sikkim House in New Delhi today. The meeting provided an opportunity for both leaders to discuss key developmental issues pertaining to the states of Sikkim. During the visit, Chief Minister Tamang briefed Governor Mathur on several ongoing and upcoming development schemes and programs that are poised to bring growth and progress to the state. The discussions cover a wide range of topics with a focus on initiatives aimed at enhancing infrastructure, social welfare, and economic developments in the Sikkim. Apart from the formal discussion, the Chief Minister also took a moment to inquire about the well-being of the governor. In a gesture of goodwill, Chief Minister Tamang extended his warm greetings to the Governor Mathur on occasions of the Sambidhan Devas, which marks the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution of India. Bangladesh courts on Tuesday denied bails to the prominent Hindu leaders Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari, arrested on the sedition charges, and sent him to prison, triggering protests by community members in various locations, including the capital Dhaka and the port cities of the Chattogram. Bangladesh police on a Monday arrested Chinmoy Krishnadas Brahmachari, leaders of the Hindu groups Sammilita Sanatani Chote from the Hazrat Shahjalal International Airport areas in Dhaka while traveling to the Chattogram. He was then brought to the Chattograms. Officials say Das was escorted to the courts amid tight security as numbers of the protesters, including lawyers, chanted slogans protesting his arrest. According to the eyewitnesses, Das greeted his supporters gathered at the court premises with folded hands as they chanted slogans and asked them to refrain from chanting religious slogans at a scene. During the hearing, the lawyers serving as the Das defense counsel requested Chattogram 6 Metropolitan Magistrates Karzi Sarifur Islam to issue a similar arrest warrant for them as well. In response, the judge stated, "I respect your emotion for him." Islam then briefly adjourns the hearing. Upon resuming, he asked the lawyer to present a belt appeal for the reconsiderations, during which Das has also made a statement. Following the conclusions of the arguments, Islam rejected Das' bail petition. The judge said since Das was arrested from outside the port city, as per law he is required to keep under the judicial custody for 24 hours. The court then ordered the Das to be taken to the jails and directed the prisoner authority to allow the Hindu priest to practice his religious rituals as per the jail court. And now let's take another short break again. Keep watching.
Mobile furniture na lagliba wedding season asigi anau contemporary wedding set furniture sing puduna lakchari loina na Manipur de ihan hanba oina wedding set laibi ba matamda 24 karat ki 5 gram ki gold coin free gift oina bizari mayam lengsin biraktuna mobile furniture ki 3rd edition the great wedding sales gold offer asi pre-booking tobiduna khudong jaba salobi ho
offer asi akupa information khambina bai damakta sangai product laiba mobile furniture la lengsin biro
Diabetes ko loina de hingliba sing tha magi manungda control to bangamle urea creatinine wangbasu tha magi manungda hanthaba ngamle khong hamba nungai tebasu numit manga nigi manungda fahan bangamle pile saibadi nungsang nabasu chama da chama fahan bangamle cholesterol wangba numit kunida normal oi bangamle bp wangbasu tha amagi manungda normal oi bangamle fatty liver oi basu tha amagi manungda fagat han bangamle pumnamak natural oi ba hidak makhalna laing jabani hakchang da sokadaba side effect amata laite makata na hidak chabagi mathau su tararoi hena kupa parol gidamak ngasimak langsin birau diabetes hospital soibam leikai ayangpali road opposite Karkinos Jenims Hospital Porompat Imphal East near Punjab National Bank.
Welcome back after the break. 4 paramilitary personnel and 2 policemen have been killed and over 100 security personnel injured as the protest by the supporter of the jail former Prime Minister Imran Khan turned violence, prompting the federal government to deploy the army in the national capital, along with Surat-side orders on the Tuesday, state-run media said. Pakistan deploys the army amidst a tense standoff with Khan's supporter from the Hizb Pakistan, Tehreek-e-Insaf, pushing forwards by removing hurdles on their way to Islamabad's D-Chowk venue as the government's vows to foil the attempts, even if a curfew needs to be imposed. Radio Pakistan says a vehicle rammed into Pakistan Rangers personnel, killing 4 Rangers officials on the Srinagar highway in Islamabad late on Monday night. 5 other Rangers personnel and several police officials too sustained severe injuries. About 5 kilometers from the spot, a bunch of miscreants equipped with the weapons and ammunition pelted stones on the Rangers personnel and carried out indiscriminate firing on the security personnel at the Chungi number 26 in the Rawalpindi, Radio Pakistan said. It was also reported that 2 policemen were killed but didn't provide any details. According to the Punjab police, 1 policeman was killed at the Hakla interchange on the Islamabad outskirts during a clash with the PTI protesters on Monday, but it did not give any details about the second policeman. Separately, Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi said at the late-night media interactions that more than 100 security personnel, mostly from the police, were injured, and he added one senior police officer's SP was critically injured. He suffered a severe head injury due to the stone pelting by the Radio Pakistan's father reported that the Pakistan's army was called in to deal with the miscreants with an iron hand and clear order. Has also been issues to suit miscreants and troublemakers on site. Strongly condemning the attacks on the rangers and the police personnel by the protesters, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in a statement directed to immediately identify those involved in the incidents and ensure they are brought to justice. At least 36 people were killed and 17 other people injured in the Israeli airstrikes on the southern and eastern Lebanon, according to the media reports. Israeli airstrikes on the eastern Lebanese governorate of the Baalbek Harmels killed 11 people, including 8 in a residential apartment in the village of Navichitz and 3 others in the Harmels, the official national news agency reported on Monday. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes on the southern Lebanon killed 25 people, including 9 in a village of the Marake, 3 in a village of the Anbal, 2 in the town of the Gaji, 10 in the Tyre districts, and 1 in the village of the Yomor, the NNA reported, adding that the airstrike also injured 70 people in Tyre. On Monday, Hezbollah targeted the Sragaba base, the administrative headquarters of the Golani Brigade Command, north of the occupied cities of the Acre, with a barrage of the rockets, the NNA reported. Hezbollah also hit Israeli forces in 2 Mosavim in northern Israel and in the Malkiye settlements, the report says, adding that the Hezbollah targeted an Israeli forces sheltering in a house in the Al-Bayada during its withdrawal, destroying the structures and inflicting multiple casualties amongst the forces, Xinhua news agencies reported. On Monday, the United Nations interim forces in Lebanon on social media platform X condemns constant strikes on the Lebanese armed forces as a flagrant violence of the UN Security Council Resolutions 1701 and international humanitarian law, which limits the use of the violence against those not participating in the hostility. UNIFIL also urged all parties involved in the conflict to address their differences through the negotiation instead of violence. The Lebanese army says that the Israeli military has been repeatedly targeting its soldiers recently. In the latest attacks on a Sunday, an Israeli airstrike targeted a Lebanese army post in the Amariya axis on the Laile Tyre roads in the southwestern Lebanon, killing 1 soldier and injuring 18 others. Since September 23, the Israeli army has also intensified its air attack on the Lebanon in an escalation of the conflict with Hezbollah. Israel's further initiated a ground operations across its northern border into Lebanon in the early October. The European Union's top diplomats say Tuesday there were no excuses for the Israelis to refuse the implements ceasefire with the Lebanese militant groups Hezbollah, saying all its security concerns had been addressed in the US-France brokers deals. Joseph Borrell, the outgoing EU foreign policy chief, called for the increased pressures on Israel to blunt extremists in the governments who are refusing to accept the deals. Speaking on the sidelines of a Group of the 7 meeting in Italy, Borrell warned that if a ceasefire is not implemented, Lebanon will fall apart. Israel's officials say Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu security cabinet was set to convene meeting Tuesday to discuss a proposed ceasefire. Among the issues that remains is an Israeli demands to reserve the right to act should Hezbollah violates its obligations under the emerging deals. Borrell says that the US would chair a ceasefire implementations committee, but France would participate at the request of the Lebanon. On the proposals agreements brokered by the US and France, Israel has also a security concern, Borrell told reporters in the Fiuggi, Italy. There is not an excuse for implementing that ceasefire, otherwise Lebanon will fall apart. Hezbollah began attacking Israel on October 8, 2023, a day after Hamas attacks on the southern Israel, setting off more than a year of fighting. That escalated into all-out war in September with the massive Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon and Israel's ground invasions of the country's south. Hezbollah has fired thousands of the rockets into the Israel military bases, cities and towns, including some 250 projectiles on Sunday. In the Gaza Strips, more than 44,000 people have been killed and more than 104,000 wounded in the 13-month war between Israel and Hamas, according to the Gaza's Health Ministry. For ELITETV News Channel, contact today email address info@elitv.in or 9402890982 and subscribe to ELITETV YouTube channel or follow on Facebook page, Instagram and X for more information about the channel. Before we wrap up the headlines once again. Cocomis shutdowns on both central and state governments began, meets officials to support the agitation. Extensive search operations underway for missing Assam residents in Imphal West. Manipur police rescue kidnapped medical officers, arrest 5 with arms and narcotics catch. Boundary-wise difference, Himanta Biswa Sarma rules out Manipur violence impact on Northeast. Congress MP Hibi Iran's 6 urgent discussion in Lok Sabha on Manipur's deteriorating situation. And Parliament adjourns 2nd times in a row over opposition's protests on Adadi case, Sambhal violence. That's all we have now. Thank you so much for joining with us and have a great time ahead.